Hey there, YouTube. I'm going to read something that is sort of my response to that school of thought that man is so tiny he could never really do any damage to the earth. And there's the interruption, sorry. So, that global warming is a big lie. The scientists are all, trying to pull one over on everybody. And I might have written this when I was in a bit of a bad mood, so it's not an attempt to be inflammatory. It's just a little of my attitude, sorry. It is called Who to Believe, and it goes like this. We don't really know what the fuck's going on. None of us do. It's too big. Do you have billions of dollars to do your own research? Are you capable of doing the research? When it comes down to it, any opinion anyone has about things they can't figure out firsthand is based on faith. You trust this group or school of thought, or you trust that one, or maybe a mix of the two, but it's still a feeling, not knowledge. When someone says all the evidence points toward the world heating up due to human activity, and they make their case, you don't have any choice but to gauge the feel of what they have to say, and if it feels like a conclusion you would have come up with based on evidence that sounds probable to you, then you trust them. Imagine if they told us that there's an angle at which it's detrimental to turn your eyes to the sky. It sounds ridiculous because you've looked at the sky many times in your life and you didn't die. Then they say that it's something about the way spare light that is undetectable to our eyes that's floating around in space and what the atmosphere at a certain angle does to it, and if you're looking directly toward it, blah, science I don't know anything about, blah. If they supported the idea with things that you already have faith in, like the science classes you've taken, or even just down to the basic principles you know to be true, it would sound very probable. If no one disputed it, then it would be thought to be true. If anyone did claim it was incorrect, depending on how logical their argument sounded, you would trust it, or not. The big point being, so what if we're wrong about humans being the cause of the current shift in climate? So what if we're wrong about what might be happening in the future? So what if we're wrong about there even being a change? Does that mean that we shouldn't consider a cleaner way to live? Does that mean that we shouldn't create less garbage or stop poisoning ourselves? Does that mean that we shouldn't attempt to save endangered species or halt our population growth or try to live naturally on the earth? Why does one group or the other have to be 100% believed by everyone before we decide to change? Isn't the principle enough? Shouldn't we just try to be benign because it's a good idea? I say, hey, let's eliminate waste and live efficiently. Let's recycle our paper and use less water. What's the argument against that? I don't believe that we're running out of trees, so using more than needed is a great idea. The scientists are trying to fool me and I'll somehow suffer if I believe them? Considering that we are sitting in a limited amount of space, we must acknowledge that even if we disagree about the scale of the problem, given enough time, it will be a valid problem eventually. That's not science you have to have faith in. That's just understanding that if we create garbage, or air toxins, or tainted water, that doesn't go anywhere, or magically turn clean again, and it never disappears, then in some amount of time, there will be nowhere to put it. We don't consider this thought valid right now because we live in an environment where all of the bad stuff we produce is swiftly taken out of sight and out of mind. As far as I know, there is no problem with our industrialization folks haven't actually claimed that garbage decomposes in a landfill and eventually becomes clean soil and green grass. It doesn't, in case you're wondering. The fact of the matter is that we don't care because it's not a problem now. It's going to be a serious problem for our children's children, and there may not be a way out if change doesn't start now. That makes us selfish, rotten, inconsiderate bastards. And this goes as well for the monetary debt that we so thoughtlessly incur. I, for one, would love to believe that little mankind could never create enough toxins to poison all of the earth. I would feel a great relief of the 6 billion pounds of guilt I carry around. But I can't, because I know that a simple formula of growth, math I understand and can do on my own, projects that bacteria left to grow unrestrained in a jar eventually run out of space and taint their environment to the point of sterilization. So stop flushing your toilet every damn time you piss in it and take your name off the junk mail list. And, on a side note, it drives me crazy when I see these, race to find the cure and all this crap. Like people are just dumping their money into the pharmaceutical industry or whatever, or laying their lives in the hands of modern science because they want to find a cure for cancer. And not all cancer, but a majority of the cancer, especially that we have now, is from toxins. You toxify your body and the response is a disease. And we don't need to look anywhere to figure out how to fix that. We need to stop pumping toxins into our environment and it'll fix itself. Anyway, thanks for watching.